Today, we're diving into the incredible life and the even more incredible art of one of the most recognizable faces of the 20th century, Frida Kahlo.
Oh yeah, you've seen this face everywhere, right? On posters, t-shirts, murals. That bold unibrow, the flowers in her hair, that powerful, unflinching stare. It's iconic. But the real story behind that icon, well, it's a story of unbelievable pain, wild passion, and just incredible resilience.
And this quote? This is the key to understanding everything about her. A lot of people tried to lump her in with the surrealists, the artists who painted their dreams. But Frida always pushed back. She was crystal clear. She wasn't painting dreams. She was painting her life, exactly as she lived it, raw, real, and totally unfiltered.
So where did this intense reality in her art come from? Well, her entire artistic journey, her entire identity, really, was forged in a single violent moment that would change absolutely everything. Believe it or not, before she was a world-famous artist, Frida was actually studying to become a doctor. But one day, on her way home, a horrific accident on a bus didn't just change her plans, it changed the entire course of her life.
She was only 18. The bus she was on crashed, and a steel handrail impaled her, shattering her body in ways that are just hard to even imagine. The injuries would cause her excruciating pain for the rest of her life. She was forced to lie in bed, trapped in a full-body cast for months. And it was there, in that bed, that her father gave her a special easel so she could paint. And what did she paint? Her own reflection. Her suffering became her subject, and her pain became her art.
So, literally unable to escape her own body, she decided to explore it with a paintbrush. Her canvas basically became her mirror, which is why her most famous subject, by far, was herself.
Just think about this for a minute. More than half of all the paintings she ever made are self-portraits. This wasn't vanity. No way. This was a deep, honest, and sometimes brutal investigation of herself.
She said it best herself. I paint myself because I am so often alone and because I am the subject I know best. Her canvases were her diary. It was the one place she could work through not just her constant physical pain, but her entire identity.
And through these self-portraits, she explored everything. She defiantly wore her unibrow and mustache, challenging ideas about gender. She celebrated her mixed Indigenous and European heritage. She stared her own physical disabilities right in the face, without an ounce of shame. And she used her traditional clothing to make a powerful statement about our Mexican culture.
But her paintings, they aren't just pictures of herself. Oh no, they are packed with symbols that tell her story. To really get what I mean, let's take a look at one of her most famous pieces.
This is The Two Fridas. She painted it right after she divorced the great muralist Diego Rivera, who was the absolute love of her life. And this painting? It is a gut-wrenching portrait of her broken heart.
Okay, look closely. On the left, that's the Frida that Diego abandoned. She's in a white, European-style dress, and her heart is literally ripped open and bleeding. But the Frida on the right, that's the one he loved. She's dressed in the vibrant, traditional Tehuana clothes he adored, and her heart is whole. They're holding hands, but you can see an artery that connected them has been snipped by a pair of scissors. It's just, wow, such a powerful way to paint heartbreak. And that's the thing. You really can't understand Frida's art without understanding her relationship with Diego Rivera. It was the central drama of her life, the source of her greatest happiness and her deepest sorrow.
She literally painted him at the center of her world. In this piece, she paints a tiny portrait of Diego right on her forehead. It's her way of showing us that he was always on her mind. The dress she's wearing? That's the Tehuana style, again, the one he loved.
Their relationship was a collision of two massive artistic talents. It was incredibly passionate and they fueled each other's creativity, but it was also a complete storm of affairs, huge fights, a divorce, and then they even got remarried. All that emotional chaos, it became the fuel for so much of her powerful art.
And this brings us right back to that main idea. Even when her paintings look totally wild, with monkeys and exposed organs and all sorts of fantastical imagery, it was always tied to something real that happened to her. That's why she hated being called a surrealist. For Frida, a bleeding, broken heart wasn't some dreamlike metaphor. It was a physical, emotional reality that she put right there on the canvas. So how did this artist, who painted her most private, personal pain, become the global superstar we know today? Well, what's fascinating is that her fame is actually a pretty new thing.
Yeah, this might surprise you, but during her lifetime, she wasn't a household name. She was definitely respected in art circles, for sure, especially in Mexico. But she wasn't this massive global icon. Her fame really exploded decades after she died in 1954, starting around the 1970s when the feminist movement rediscovered her work and fell in love with her raw, unapologetic honesty. Today, she stands for so much. She's become this universal symbol of strength in the face of incredible suffering. She's a feminist icon of independence, and she's a hero to anyone who dares to live their own truth out loud with all its pain, all its complexity, all its beauty.
Which leaves us with this one amazing question. Frida Kahlo took the most painful, most intimate pieces of her own life, and she put them on a canvas for everyone to see. And by doing that, she created this visual language of survival that speaks to millions of people today. Her private reality became our public inspiration.